Hello my friends and welcome. Let's go straight to Kherson Oblast. The landing operation of Ukrainian army is ongoing. It seems like Ukraine gained more ground across the Antonovsky Bridge. Our guys landed there around 4 months ago. It was very hard for them to stay there because Russia performed the constant bombing of our positions using the aviation bombs and their artillery, but they were mostly unsuccessful. So today Ukraine sent more reinforcement and we took more ground However, it's still far away from Oleshki village. The only road which connects this bridgehead with Oleshki is this one. Unfortunately, Russia is controlling it and there is the bridge which they may collapse at any moment. Nevertheless, you may see the advancement of Ukrainian landing operation on the other shore. Already many of the landing points for Ukrainian army, and it is awesome. I see the possible logic of the bigger counteroffensive in this area. Hopefully it will be like that because Russia built not that robust defense in this area. But for now, Ukraine mostly halted the counteroffensive actions on the south, so it's the only exception. Ukrainian army moves a little in Bakhmut, on the south part of the Bakhmut area, and also over here. The rest of the areas are under the question according to analytics, because we are not sure whether we'll have the constant support from our allies, especially from the United States of America, because of the, let's say, political crisis. So it's quite risky to advance right now. For now we have the forces to advance, but there could be the situation that we'll be in lack of the military support in the middle of the counteroffensive. Actually, already it's the middle of the counteroffensive and there are some disturbances with military support from the allies. Nevertheless, we still have it. Moreover, we received ATACMS, so we are very grateful for our allies. Ukraine also was successful not far away from Crimea, over here. According to the different resources, we pushed Russians a little, taking the ground. But Russia used lots of their artillery shells. About Avdiivka, Russia advanced from Krasnogorivka. There is no military update from this military map resource. However, we also have the data that Russia took some sort of the ground near to the railroad today. That's the only advancement which they had. Ukraine launched lots of the surveillance drones in the area and continue to show the Russian positions not far away from Krasnogorivka, and Russians continue to show this hill. They claim that they took it under control, but why do they show it? There was the advancement attempt from the Russian forces not far away from Bakhmut. They took 2 of the BMP-3. It's their modern armored vehicle, but both of them were caputed by Ukrainian artillery and our guys. Now we start to receive the information that many of the Russian soldiers refused to go on attacking missions. That is why Russia started to hire more prisoners from their prisons and send them to storm Z battalions for the massive attacks. Those battalions are like the Wagner army with ex-prisoners who are motivated not to return to the prison, and also there is the death penalty for them if they retreat from the warfield. We have this information also published by the United States intelligence. They say that sometimes Russia may eliminate many of their soldiers who refuse to go and fight. So the tactics is mostly the same as for the Wagner army. Firstly, they send prisoners, and from the flanks they attack with more capable forces. By doing so, they want to get Avdiivka encircled or under control, pushing Ukrainian forces out, and also they want to eliminate the threat for the Bakhmut city from the Ukrainian side, pushing our forces away, but for now, as you see, unsuccessful. This is the video from the FPV drone, and here is the BMP-1 also in the Bakhmut direction. Yes, the video is kind of the bad quality, but anyways, here you'll see that it is kaboomed by the FPV drone. My friends, unfortunately, I am unable to publish lots of that kind of the content on this platform, so please check my Telegram. You may find it in the video description just below, or you may just scan the QR code available on the screen, and there I post lots of the stuff about Ukraine and not only. So support me on Telegram. By the way, there are no any advertisements. It's very useful platform. Alright, it seems like Russia doing the same painting stuff, painting the MiG-31s in Belbek, Sevastopol airfield. So this is the real airplane. It's MiG-31, but they also painted the same airplane just on the apron, so no shuttle, nothing. The Belbek airfield is located not far away from Sevastopol, so this is Sevastopol and Belbek is around, I think, 10 kilometers away. Just recently Putin ordered to send MiG-31 with Kinjal hypersonic missiles. The Avdiivka direction, as you can see, two of the BTRs before they assaulted with more vehicles. As you can see, those are the remains of the previous attack. Nevertheless, Russia continued to push forward, and finally this attack was repelled by Ukrainian defense as well. So Russia has dramatic losses because of their attempt to encircle Avdiivka. Many more losses compared to the Vuhledar operation which they conducted the last winter. Probably the Russian army command already understood that Ukraine might go on a counterattack near to Avdiivka because the Russian forces are exhausting over there with their failed attack attempts. So Russia started to build the defense lines as they did on the southern part of Ukraine. So they sent the engineering vehicles with lots of the counts, but Ukrainian drone army started to eliminate those vehicles. There is the new trouble on the front. Lots of the mice are storming the trenches of Ukrainian army and the Russian one. So here you may see, if you just open this, oh my god, there are lots of the mice out there. They are eating everything, the provision and even leather belts from the weaponry. Here you may see the one just in a drone battery compartment. It's getting colder outside because it's the autumn time, so those mice prefer the cozy trenches of our soldiers and the Russian soldiers. And this is the Russian trench. You may see lots of the mice under this mattress. Oh my god, there are tons, just tons of them out there. Just imagine sleeping surrounded by those mice. There was the meeting of the European leaders today, and here is Viktor Orban. Other guys are making photo and Orban is just staying there like like the guy who's not dancing this evening. Just look at this face. Orban, if you don't like European Union, just leave it. But I don't think that the Hungarian people would support that move. There was the assassination attempt today in Russia of one of their propagandists and ex-Ukrainian politician who was pro-Russian before. His name is Oleg Tsarov. So what happened? He started to say about the Russian mistakes in Ukraine, that they took Crimea and because of that they lost the rest of Ukraine. Ukraine is now resisting. Population doesn't really like Russia. He said it yesterday, and today he got a couple of the bullets and now he is in emergency. Alright, Germany will increase the military support of Ukraine, providing more air defense systems, one more IRIS-T. Before it was promised 2 systems and will have 3 of them for the winter campaign, as well as one more TRML-4D radar. Before they promised 3. Russia hasn't been using the cruise missiles attacking Ukrainian territory for almost 2 months, so they keep their missiles for the winter attacks. The attacks might be even more intense compared to the last year. Mike Johnson, the new Speaker of the House of the Representatives of the United States Senate, said that we shouldn't let Putin to win this war. Awesome. At the same time, he wants to support Ukraine and Israel separately. He even wants to increase the help to Israel even more compared to the Biden's proposal. As for Ukraine, they want to receive more data about the military help that goes to our country, and I think it's good to find out how Ukraine spends all of those funds. But mostly we receive not the funds, not the actual money, but the military units. He also believes that if Putin wins in Ukraine, he will not stop on Ukraine. He will continue his aggression towards the other states in Europe. Well, for now, I'm personally not disappointed with the new speaker. He says about the continuation of the support of Ukraine. That's awesome. For me, his political orientation doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter in general. The main thing is what they do, and this guy probably will do the proper job supporting Ukraine the next year. It was reported by the media resources that Russia lost one of their ships near to the Sevastopol Bay. I would call it more the boat rather than the ship. It was damaged, the smoke was reported, however we don't have any kind of the photo or video evidence about the case. Finally, the United States of America responded on on attacks of their military bases. In Syria today, they launched the rocket attack on positions of some of the proxy forces which supported by Iran in Syria and also Iraq. And finally, we understand how those attacks were conducted, mostly by using those drones. They even could be launched from the Iranian territory, but I think not during this time. Many of the Russian channels shared the disinformation that Putin died yesterday. Moreover, they say that there is the fighting ongoing for the power in Kremlin in the hours then Putin lost his life. There is the movie called The Stalin's Death or something like that. Then the fighting for the power starts immediately after the Stalin's body was found. Well, I do not exclude that it will happen in this case as well, but Putin is still alive. There was the video shown with him today. He was in a press conference somewhere. So it was the disinformation. Why it was spread by many of the Russian non-official channels, by the way, it is definitely too good to be true. We understand that Putin is not forever and then he passes away. There is no guarantee that Russia will stop the war in Ukraine, unfortunately, because Russia should change its imperialistic system not to be the threat for the other countries. They are always the threat for Chechnya, for Georgia. It doesn't matter who is the leader of their country. So I think Russia should be formatted and reformed. Alright, let's speak about the other topic. Israel performs the ground operation in Gaza, advancing mostly from the north part. Yet it is not the big ground landing operation that was announced partially by Israeli forces before. I believe that this attack will be similar to what happened the day before yesterday. Then Israel advanced with their tanks to this area and then withdraw the forces. So I expect them to withdraw their forces from the area tomorrow. I think that there are two aims of this operation. First of all, to perform the military surveillance of the area, to understand what Israeli armed forces would face in case of the real assault on Gaza, full-scale assault. Predict the losses, predict the resistance while fighting in urban environment. The reason number two is to see the world reaction. Now there are many protests against start to appear in the European countries, in the United States of America, and in Muslim countries. For tomorrow, President of Turkey Recep Tayyip Erdogan called everyone for the meetings against the Israeli attack on Gaza. I would say that Israel is in difficult state in making the final decision whether to advance to Gaza or not, especially for their Prime Minister Netanyahu, who did a very bad job securing the Israeli territory from the Hamas attacks. Well, not only him, but Israeli intelligence officers and many more officials. But everyone would blame Netanyahu, and since he is the leader of the country, he is responsible basically for everything, especially for the safety of his own people. So if he is not starting this ground military operation, he would probably lose the power in Israel. On the other hand, if Israel performs the ground operation in Gaza, it would cause dramatic losses for Israeli army and first of all to the civilians in Gaza. There will be thousands of the dramatic videos of people suffering, kids suffering, and for sure the allies, the current allies of Israel, would not like it. Joe Biden says that Israel shouldn't start the military operation in Gaza but perform the small attacks targeting exactly Hamas leaders and their forces. Those attacks are only possible with qualified special forces. The problem for Netanyahu that in that case it will not be the big media event, the revenge of Israel after the Hamas terrorist attack on Israeli territory. In that case, he might also lose the power. So I guess that finally Netanyahu will start the big ground intervention into Gaza, mostly for revenge and to secure his own power as the Prime Minister of Israel, to do something to overweight his previous mistake. Unfortunately, as I see it, it's not the best decision for Israel. Even if they take the whole Gaza Strip under control, people would hate them even more. I mean, the people who live in Gaza, and there are more than 2 million civilians. The best scenario would be just to eliminate the Hamas using the special forces with unique missions. I wonder if it's possible. I think that it is, using the American forces in cooperation with Israeli forces. Because definitely the Hamas ideology is to get rid of Israel, and it will not work like that. It is understandable that Israel would not allow this organization to continue continue ruling the Gaza Strip because they sent lots of the uncontrolled rockets on Israeli territory day by day, and plus they performed the terrorist attacks, so they need to do something with that. But as I say to you, the ground operation probably would not solve this issue. Israel missed all of the proper decisions well before, since 2007, then they just closed the Gaza Strip and allowed the Hamas movement to appear and take the power. The Israeli politicians just locked the bomb near to their country, thinking that it will never explode, but it was just a matter of time. Then the situation escalated very fast, and now there are no place for the proper decision. Israel has to choose between the bad and the bad. Saudi Arabia warns the United States Israeli invasion of Gaza could be catastrophic. Indeed, it could be. This evening we received the information from one of the speakers of Israeli army that they started the ground operation in Gaza, but later on they clarified that it is quite limited. So as I understand, they will withdraw their forces from Gaza maybe tomorrow. At the same time, there was the huge shelling of the Gaza Strip, which caused the blackout in that area, together with internet collapse and cut of the other communications. The United States Embassy in Beirut called its citizens not to travel to Lebanon, so the conflict might spark there as well. Just before, Saudi Arabia evacuated their citizens from Lebanon after the consultations with the United States. There was the resolution in United Nations taken today. It is calling for protection of civilians and upholding legal and humanitarian obligations, I think, in Gaza, they say. So 120 countries voted for it and 14 against, including Israel itself, and I think the United States of America voted against the resolution. Ukraine decided not to vote at all, as many of the other countries like Netherlands and Canada. Nevertheless, Israel says that this resolution will not influence their operation in Gaza. My friends, now don't forget to press the like to this video, and also if you want to support my job, you may find some of the links in the video description just below. Special thanks for my Patreon supporters and also the sponsors of my YouTube channel. My friends, you are awesome. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.